Study findings indicate that muscle fatigue accumulated in baseball and softball catchers from pre-practice to post-practice did not significantly change hip and knee kinematics. This means that the collegiate catchers in the study may not have experienced a potentially injurious increase in hip and knee flexion as a result of the duration of time spent in the squat position required for catching. So how do these results compare to the current knowledge and literature? Well, currently there isn't any literature that has studied the effect of fatigue on hip and knee joint kinematics in collegiate baseball or softball catchers as it relates to injury or injury prevention. However, various biomechanical hypotheses have been investigated as they pertain to the relationship between lower extremity kinematics and their injury to bone and soft tissue. For example, a deep squat position creates increased compressive forces across the patellofemoral joint, which could be potentially deleterious to menisci or articular cartilage. Also, athletes at risk for femoral acetabular impingement, who may also have cam or pincher type impingements, could be at risk for tissue damage from excessive hip flexion. So while our study did not result in significant findings, it is worth recognizing that collegiate coaches should communicate with catchers to ensure that they have not had any incurring So, while our study did not result in any significant findings, it's worth recognizing that collegiate coaches should communicate with catchers to ensure that they are not incurring any chronic injuries to the hard or soft tissue of their knees or hips. This study was limited by the fact that fatigue accumulated over the duration of the practice was self-reported, so there's some concern for underreporting, and that the practice This study was limited by the fact that fatigue accumulated over the duration of the practice was self-reported, so there's some concern over underreporting. Also, the practice may not have been physically exerting enough to induce fatigue to see potentially deleterious changes in kinematics. And finally, we were also limited in the number of athlete exposures that we were able to measure.